All right, I just wrapped up the part 3 video for building this Bandai A-Wing fighter, and I'm really happy with how it turns out. Part 3 will cover the paint, the decals, and the panel lining, and then part 4 will go and cover the weathering. I'm planning for that part 4 to be the final video for the weathering. We'll see, you know how that goes. But this kit is such an outstanding kit. I painted all of the parts separate. To keep the color, make the color separation easy. Now I assembled things as far as I could, but to keep the color separation easy, I just painted all of the parts completely separate. This red part, all of the red parts were off the model. The tail pieces were off and they were in half. The guns were apart. The cockpit was out. The only real big assembly I had was the upper and lower fuselage halves glued together because they were white. But the only place that I can see, and it's just snapped together right now. There's no glue. I could completely, because I nipped the pegs, I could completely disassemble this thing if I wanted to. The only place that I've seen that you can kind of get a hint that it's just snapped together is right here along that tail piece. And I imagine with a little more squeezing I can close that off. But the fit, look at the fit between the red and the white there. You just can't, I mean, that engineering is just so doggone precise. It's amazing. There are a couple of seam lines between these two red parts, but they're covered up by those white parts. There's no seam that shows here. There's no seam that shows on, like this red part is separate. Nothing shows. It's just absolutely outstanding in terms of its fit and engineering. And I know I say this a lot, but I really mean it. If you've not built a Bandai Star Wars kit, I would really, really, really urge you to do so. You know, even if you're saying, "Oh, I don't build sci-fi." This is not about building sci-fi. This is not about building Star Wars. This is about building what I think is as close to a doggone perfect kit as you can build. Now, if you're saying, "Yeah, but I built Tamiya," trust me, I could show you my spreadsheet of the builds I've done over the last 14 years. A huge chunk of them are Tamiya, and Tamiya kits are great. In terms of comparison to the rest of the aircraft world, they fit amazing. They're wonderfully engineered. All of those superlatives that you've read go along with them. They apply. This makes them look like special hobby in some ways. I mean, imagine if you could take any Tamiya fighter and paint it completely disassembled and put it together, assemble it, and it work. It just doesn't happen. Even as good as Tamiya fit is, you still have to do some stuff to address seam lines and you know, and all of those things. This one, and to a certain extent, all of the alphabet soup fighters, the Y-wing, the X-wing, the B-wing, each of those, now they have, like on the B-wing, there's a few places that you may have to say, well, that's not so much a seam as it is a panel line and treat it as such, but just a couple of very minor places. The X-wing can be done that way, although the fit in a couple of places is not quite as precise as this. The Y-wing is one. Now it's got a lot of tubes and stuff that'll take you a while to do, but it's another one that you just don't have to paint it after you build it. You can paint it all ahead of time. So any of those, and the TIE fighters too. The TIE fighters are outstanding, and the Snowspeeder is outstanding. But really, I say it in all the videos where I build these things. But I wanted to just show this up close because I got it assembled this morning, and assembly took like 5 minutes after I had the parts painted and the panel lining done. But I just wanted to show that, you know, you're looking at an assembled model with no glue and no filler, and you just don't find this kind of engineering quality. And no, Bandai's not paying me to say this. You just don't find this kind of engineering quality anywhere else. So yeah, maybe you're not a sci-fi builder. Maybe you're a tank builder or an aircraft builder or, you know, whatever. And you say, you know, I'm just not interested in sci-fi or Star Wars. I would still say get one of these kits. Especially, I think this one is the one that I would say if somebody says, which one should I get? This one, or if you think the Snowspeeder's a little cooler looking, it's another one that's just as close to perfect as I think any model kit can come. Build one of these for the experience, and you it may turn you into a sci-fi builder just so you can keep building more of them. When I first, this was, I think, if I remember right, I think this was the first of the alphabet soup fighters I did. And I walked away from it going, I've never seen anything like this. This is my second A-Wing build. So anyway, I know I'm rambling on saying the same thing over and over, but I just wanted to kind of show how it looks when it's built, and just to say, build one of these, you're going to have fun.